Bonjour mes chers amis et bienvenue sur ma chaîne YouTube. If you're ready to improve your French grammar, you're in the right place.
This is the race, you're the core before me.
And T, you made this? Je m'appelle Sonia, je suis une enseignante française, and today we'll be tackling the basic building blocks of French communication, verbs and their conjugation. So we're covering basically present tense, and in this video we'll be tackling basic verbs, that is commonly used verbs, conjugation tips, and those sneaky mistakes that we can often make. Let's get right into it. So today's topic is very essential, so grab yourself a notebook, a drink, or anything that you know that you will need. A notebook and a pen is very important. Now before we jump right into conjugations, we will first tackle those basic verbs, those daily commonly used verbs in the French language. Now, why are verbs so crucial? In French, verbs change their form depending on whoever is doing the action. It's not like English where she's eating, he's eating, I am eating. Both I and she is using eating. In French, it is quite different. So who is doing the action determines how the verb is placed. So today we'll be tackling au présent, the present tense only. So let's get started, and we'll be starting with your ER verbs. Section 1 is ER verbs. Now ER verbs are basically verbs that end with ER. Parler, manger, écrivez, désolé pas écrivez, chanter, danser, etc. As long as it ends with ER, it's an ER verb, and these are very common verbs. These are the most verbs in the French language. I would say that most verbs in the French language ER, very common. Now let's study the conjugation pattern. Let's use parler. Je parle, tu parles, il ou elle ou on parle. That means he or she or one speaks. Nous parlons, we speak. Vous parlez, you speak. Plural or formal. Vous parlez, you speak. Ils ou elles parlent. Now, these endings are for the first je parle, it is E. Tu parles, it is ES. Il ou elle ou on parle, it is E. Nous parlons, it is ONS. Vous parlez, it is EZ. It ends with EZ. The ER is removed and it ends with EZ. Ils ou elles parlent, it ends with ENT. But the ENT is silent. Parle, ils ou elles parlent, they speak. But the ENT is silent, okay? This pattern works for most ER verbs, I'll give you that. Now let's move to section 2. The IR verbs, basically verbs that end with IR, okay? Some of these IR verbs are finir, to finish, choisir, to choose, réussir, to succeed. They all end with IR, basically verbs that end with IR, okay? So the pattern is quite different, I'd say. The pattern for ER and IR are very different. So we use finir, we use the verb finir for IR verbs. Now just like the ER verb, the IR will also be removed because the ER verbs, in the ER verbs, the ER was removed to be conjugated in that form. So for the IR verb, the IR will also be removed. So je finis is the IR removed, now be replaced with IS, je finis. Tu finis, also IS. Il ou elle finit, it ends with ISS or EZ. Vous finissez, ISS, EZ. Ils ou elles finissent, they finish. Ils ou elles finissent, they finish, ends with ISSENT. So those are the endings for the IR verbs, and this is basically the same pattern for most IR verbs. And then we have the RE verbs, basically verbs that end with RE. For example, vendre, to sell, répondre, to respond. Verb, just basically verbs that end with IR. So quickly, the pattern for this one is removing the RE like others were also conjugated. As we remove the ER and remove the IR, we remove the RE too. So we have, let's use vendre. So je vends, we add S. To vendre, we add S. Il ou elle ou on vend, we add nothing. It is VEND like that. Nous vendons, we add ONS. Vous vendez, we add EZ. Ils ou elles vendent, we add ENT, but the ENT is silent again. Means they sell, I sell, you sell, he or she sells, you sell, we sell, and they sell. Ils ou elles vendent. So if you notice, the il ou elle, that is he or she sells, has no ending to it. So you should take note of that in this pattern of the RE verbs. Section 4, common irregular verbs. These ones are very pesky and can be very confusing because they don't have a particular pattern to them, or most of them. It's just they are on their own, and you just have to memorize or cram how they are used in word forming. For example, être, to be, and avoir, to have. These ones are very, very common. To be and to have, you have to use these verbs. Je suis, tu es, il est, il ou elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils ou elles sont. Ils ou elles sont. Je suis, tu es, il est, elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils ou elles sont. Avoir, j'ai, tu as, il ou elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ou elles ont. ONT. That is all to it. There is nothing there. So these verbs are very confusing, and they must be used. So the basic thing to do is to just memorize these ones and maybe cram them to know how they are used in sentences and learn how to conjugate them. Okay, merci beaucoup. There are also other irregular verbs like this, like aller, to go, faire, to do, dire, to say. So they are unique and they don't have a particular pattern to them. They just have to be memorized in the way they are conjugated. The conjugation needs to be memorized. There's no pattern. So also remember to pronounce the verbs properly, because remember I told you that the ils ou elles of, for example, parler, the verb parler, to speak, the ils ou elles, that is they speak, is the ENT that ends that verb. It is silent, like I said. C'est pas ils ou elles parlons, c'est ils ou elles parlent. Ils ou elles parlent. So we should you need to look at those pronunciations and take note of them. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like I always say, practice makes perfect. Practice. Parler, speak. Whether you are speaking is right or wrong, learn to speak and get corrected. Learn to make those mistakes so that you get corrected and you don't make them anymore. This is the only way that you will learn. Okay, so that is the best advice for somebody that is trying to learn to speak. Et voilà, votre guide au présent, your guide to speaking present tense in French. Remember, again, practice and immersion is key. So if you found this video helpful, I would like you to give this video a thumbs up, share, and whatever questions you have, I'd like you to put them in the comment section and I will give you my best to answer those questions. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Again, don't forget to subscribe. Merci beaucoup et à très bientôt.